Many years ago, between the 1300s and the 1600s, people believed in supernatural things. In this case, they believed in the existence of witches. They support this idea by citing the Bible. And we can't deny that it does. In Leviticus 20:27, a man or a woman who is a medium or a necromancer shall surely be put to death. They shall be stoned with stones. Their blood shall be upon them. By saying this, we want to introduce another idea that is also quoted in the Bible, Genesis 1:14. Then God said, "Let there be light in the firmament of the heavens, to divide the day from the night, and let them be for signs and seasons, and for days and years."
But let's not get too religious now. The classical constellations that populate our sky began in the lands of the Middle East thousands of years ago. Used by different civilizations to measure time, their origins largely lost to time. They passed through the hands of the ancient Greeks, who overlaid them with their legends and codified them in story and verse. All societies created them. Now, going back to the constellations. A constellation is a group of stars that, when seen from Earth, form a pattern. Currently, the stars in the sky are divided into 88 constellations.
During Roman times, they were assigned Latin names. And even though the 12 constellations of the zodiac are no more important to astronomers than the other 76 constellations, signs had their origin in about the 6th century BC, when the astronomer and astrologers of the time developed signs as a measuring system to be used in tracking planetary movements. Paths on which the sun takes its yearly journey across the heavens, as it would appear to earthlings.
These signs are actually star constellations occupying space in which the sun appears to travel in an Earth year.
Commercial break.
The original 12 signs or constellations are Aries,
They are curious, energetic, and enthusiastic individuals,
Taurus,
known for being reliable, practical, ambitious, and will help family and friends.
Gemini,
Clever and intellectual people, but they can also be tense and restless.
Cancer,
Highly imaginative, loyal, emotional, sympathetic, and persuasive.
Leo,
Independent and confident, also ambitious but generous.
Virgo,
The introverts, wise and well-spoken.
and they can effectively help people solve their problems. Libra, kind, gentle, and lovers of beauty, harmony, and peace.
Scorpio, strong-willed and mysterious. They possess what it takes to achieve their goals.
Sagittarius,
The archers, who speak the brutal truth, are philosophical and have a strong sense of right and wrong.
Capricorn,
Speak the most determined. They make good team leaders and organizers.
Aquarius,
Progressive, broad-minded, and creative. And Pisces, Dreamers, mystical, and a little lazy since they don't tend to look on the bright side of their situation.
These signs are quite familiar to everyone. However, the 13th sign in constellation Ophiuchus is in fact not well known.
In mythology, Ophiuchus is identified with the healer Asclepius, the son of Apollo, who was able to bring the dead back to life. Asclepius healed Orion and promptly ground the scorpion under his foot. This is shown in the skies as Orion rising in the east as Scorpius, directly under the feet of Ophiuchus, sits in the west.
Now this is showing where Orion, which is this guy, is healed by Ophiuchus, or Asclepius. The name Ophiuchus is derived from the Greek word for serpent handler. There is no healer or god with the name Ophiuchus, but he has always been associated with Asclepius. Eventually, they both became known by Ophiuchus over time. Ophiuchus became an incredible healer.
Indeed, he could even bring back the dead. And Hades, who ruled the underworld, complained to Zeus that his realm was threatened. Finally, Zeus struck Ophiuchus down with a thunderbolt, but placed him in the sky so he could be remembered.
The characteristics that identifies this 13th sign can be strongly compared with John Proctor from the Crucible. For example, if we were to assign a zodiac sign to John Proctor based on his personality, we could say that he belongs to this one in particular because he seeks peace and harmony.
He is rebellious and secretive, also seeks knowledge. He's an overseer and a supervisor of work.
And it is said that people who were born under this sign are either grand or completely misunderstood.
Just like Proctor.
Now, with this whole John Proctor explanation, we can add that one of the themes is individual versus society. The definition of this kind of conflict is when a protagonist has a strong belief against the majority of the community and acts on it.
Many people in the village were afraid, therefore, the accused ones did and said anything that would keep them from getting hanged. This is where another theme comes in: courage and fear.
Could we say that the story would have been different if they were all a John Proctor? Not standing for blind obedience to authority and willing to sacrifice. For this case, we came up with an alternative ending,